For now, I'm going to go inside out of this weather. It's going to be wet tomorrow apparently, but right now it's fine, and it's always nice to get outside when I can. So I'm going to go inside and tell you what we've been writing about this morning, the 0 Point Field and I. See how much quieter it is inside. It's quite noisy out there. Right. So, if you watched last week, then you'll know that I've been talking about and writing about, excuse me, I've got to get this sorted out into its little holder. Excuse me, didn't do it beforehand, but it's done now. Been writing about being able to find your way through life, being able to navigate your way through life with the compass in your heart, the compass in your gut, and the compass in your brain. And most people are used to using the compass in their brain, but they don't realise they've got two other really powerful guidance systems in their body that they can use too, if they know how to do it. And so I'm writing about how to do it. And the reason why how to do it is interesting to, well, I think to anybody, is, you know, there are people who just know things, and how the hell do they do it? And, you know, I don't think it's luck. I don't think it's that some people are smarter or better than others, and maybe you could say that some people are more intuitive than others. But I would say now, given what I've been learning as I've been reading and studying and putting this together for myself and for you, is that people who just know things, be they the guy who just knows what to do outside in the farm because he has some sixth sense that says it's time to do this and not that. And yes, he consults the weather forecast, but he just has a gut feeling that he can't explain. I need to do this job now and that job later, and the weather turns out to be just perfect for that. Although either task could have been done either way, but it works out better the way that he just felt to do it. This is my normal modus operandi now. It's even in my job as a web head doing websites. I have a number of tasks to do, and I just have these feelings about, I should do this one now, and then I should do that one, and I should not do that one, I should do this one. And it always flows and works out really well. So how does that actually work? And it's not actually then I'm different, or that guy is different, or that person that you know that is just always right about things and they can't tell you how they do it is any different. But there is a skill, and it turns out that at least part of that skill is this thing called interoception, which I reckon is a good chunk of what people call the sixth sense. And what interoception is the sense that gives you everything that's going on inside your body. So the most obvious way that most people experience interoception is when they get hungry or thirsty or tired or restless, or something hurts or something feels good, or, you know, they get all of that information from interoception. It's a big ugly word, but that's what it means. It's everything that you get from it's all the sensations you get from inside your body. So if you didn't have your eyes or your ears or your nose or your mouth or your skin, what else could you feel? And that would be it. It's the information you get when you're in a sensory deprivation tank, apart from what might happen if you start to hallucinate, because the brain does that if it's not getting information after a while. So I reckon that interoception is the source of a lot of this information. Excuse me, I may cough occasionally. So what we've been doing is explaining that in the last few weeks, and more recently, last week, the 0 Point Field and I managed to write the first half of a practical exercise for, well, here, have a go. Learn what the sense is like, how does it feel, and ask it a question. Ask your body a question, and here's how to receive the information. So we did that. We did the first half of it, and then we ran out of time. And today we finished the exercise. I mean, we revised what we've written before because that's always how we begin. But then we finished the exercise. And I'm going to read the exercise onto video, and it'll be up on my Patreon soon, in a couple of days. And what we've written in the last couple of weeks is the exercise plus the explanation that makes sense of it. But I read a chunk of that last week. But this week, I'm just going to read the exercise. So it'll be a thing that you can follow through and do from beginning to end. To learn, if you have never done it, how you can actually ask your body a question and get a response. Notice I don't say, get an answer that you completely capiche and understand in one moment. This is a skill. So this is an exercise, a practical exercise that you can use for getting to do something with that skill. And if you keep using the tool, if you keep experimenting and exploring, you'll get really good at using it, because that's all that people who have a well-developed intuition really do. There are some other things that sit on top of it, but I reckon this is about 85% of the sixth sense. And I've got a really good sixth sense, so at least for me, I ought to know. I think most of it comes to me through my interoception. The rest of it is figuring out what it means and being able to translate it. And that's the other set of skills. And I kind of want to be able to go, and you can understand all of it and be able to do all of it, but that would be too much too soon, and everybody would be overwhelmed. So it's much better doing it the way the 0 Point Field has done it, which is this really simple exercise that gives you an experience that you can then take away. And whenever you're confused about something, or thinking, that feels off and I don't know why, you can do this. But if you only do that every 6 days or every 2 weeks, you're not going to get very good at it. It's actually something that you have to practice. If you want to get good at playing the guitar, you have to practice the guitar every day. If you want to get good at this, you have to practice it every day. You just have to get good at using the tool that you want to use. So, so the 0 Point Field wrote a really lovely exercise, and I admit that when we finished it, I thought, really? Is that it? Is that all? And the 0 Point Field proceeded to explain that I just wanted to complicate things, and this is simple, and it's all it needs to be. And the fundamental skills that you get to practice in the exercise are how to make your heart coherent, because if you tune straight into your gut information, because we're saying the gut brain, it's actually your whole body, but it's nice to have a focus somewhere, otherwise it gets kind of woolly and hard to think about. So if you're tuning into your gut feeling, but you're in a pickle, you're upset, you're afraid, you're angry, whatever, you're going to get upset, angry, afraid, whatever information. We want you to get information that's actually useful. So before we do the exercise and after, because there's an important thing to do after, we do a little bit of heart coherence. Because when you make your heart coherent, you make your brain coherent, and you also make the rest of your body more coherent. So we do that, and then we do the exercise to ask your body these questions. And I mean, it's even just really cool, because the exercise says, this is what I don't want you to do. Because normally when someone asks us a question, we get all busy in here trying to figure it out. And that's not how it needs to be. So, it's a really nice exercise for, exercise sounds so boring, but really, if you want to ask your body a question and get an answer, you will get an answer. You may have to sit with the answer or ask the question again and get more answers to be able to understand what the answers mean. But the first thing is to get the information, to just strike up a conversation with your body and open the dialogue so information can flow. Because the thing is, once the information starts to flow, even if it seems like complete nonsense to you, and it may very well, if you've never done this before, it's like, okay, so I'm tuning in, I'm listening, and I get these weird random things, or I'm getting nothing at all. And you might think, well, that's crap. But, you didn't learn to walk in a day either. And so you got to actually practice and be curious and explore. And once you start making connections between this information that you get inside your body and the guidance that you desire in your life, well, it gets easier. You have one little breadcrumb of, oh, I felt that. And, oh. And so you get a sense for how this feels and what it might mean. And it's kind of cool. And you think, okay, so I'll notice if it feels a bit like that next time and have another go and see if I understand what my body is showing me and sharing with me and telling me and feeling and vibing to me. Hi, Benetta. I've been thinking of you for weeks. Way overdue. We need to talk. So, just had to say that. So, it takes practice, and most of us, it's absolutely, it begins, the middle, and the end is listening and noticing. And not understanding, and be okay with not understanding. That's the thing. We all want to ask the question, get the response, and immediately understand it. And it didn't work like that because our bodies speak a different language. Did you notice your body does not speak English or Maori or Italian or Chinese or whatever it is? How does the body speak? It speaks with feelings. And while if we don't listen, the body will eventually scream at us. Something will happen. You'll get really sick, or you'll get pain, or life will find a way to really yell at you. But if you know how to listen, you can pick up when it's just whispering. And it's these little, it's just the finest sense of, oh, something's different. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. But you get better at it. And what you find even eventually, I'll talk about this, but I haven't written about it yet, is I realize this now because, I do this energy work and I sense things in the unified field and the space around me and all of that stuff that I talk about that people probably think, what the hell is she going on about? I don't know when I made this connection. It was a while ago now. I really do feel that all my sense, and the space gets really big in there. And I'm pretty sure I'm actually feeling it all literally inside my brain. So I'm still using interoception for that. But I get the most incredibly nuanced and subtle and profound and really powerful and really accurate information that way. And I've practiced it so much that with a little just slowing down and focus, I can mostly do it with my eyes open now. If I'm in a place where I need information, as long as I'm not wound up, stressed and freaked out, because if I have to do that, I've got to deal with that before I can access the information. Do not think you will ever get good information if you're stressed out of your tiny wee pea shooter. It doesn't work. Which is why we surround the whole exercise with heart coherence. You do that first, you get the information, whether you understand it or not, doesn't matter. You made the effort, you practiced, you keep practicing, you get good at it. It doesn't matter what you practice. And then you do heart coherence again to give yourself and your body an opportunity to integrate whatever came. And sometimes the answer or the understanding floats into your awareness later when you stop trying to figure it all out. The body gets through. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how it is that this exercise is going to come out, this practical application of you tuning in and getting information from your body, because there is a wealth of it there. Vast, enormous. I talked about that last week, but it still blows me away because your body and my body and everything around us fundamentally is made of protons. Everything else is kind of separate to those and seems to be temporary and moves around, but protons have been discovered to be extremely stable. In the whole period of the time that our universe has been in existence, not one of them is degraded. Nobody has found a proton that started falling apart. They're really, really stable, coherent, strong things. And, okay, so my body's made of protons. Whoopee! Why does that have anything to do with this? Well, all the protons are connected to all the other protons in the entire universe. It's called the unified field for a reason. Everything is connected. And if all the protons in your body are connected with all the protons in the rest of the universe, and they are, and the connection, the information flow is just, for us, it's practically instantaneous, well, then you have access to all the information in the universe if you just know how to use that access. That's why this is exciting, because it's the gateway to all that information. And it's not woo-woo, it is a real sense. It is called interoception. Look it up on the internet. Not nearly so much research has been done about it as the five senses we all know and love so well, but it's a real thing. And they're starting to do the research because researchers have sort of realized it's not just that, you have a feeling and your gut gets upset. Your gut gets upset and then you have a feeling. It goes both ways. So this thing is really cool and really interesting and really powerful. And as I said, it is, I think, a huge chunk of our ability to know stuff that we can't know by using our five senses. It's a big chunk of our sixth sense. And so if you haven't followed me on Patreon and you'd like to, the link's in the words below this post, and I would love to see you there. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching, like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again. Would love to see your comments. Big love. I'll be back with more next week. Until then, bye-bye. Hi, beautiful. Oneness Evolving here outside on the back garden for a change. Because it's windy and the front garden has been kind of ripped to pieces and needs deadheading. And so anyway, let me show it to you before I tell you what I've been working on for God of me today. I really just want you to see this. I'm not going to walk far because the Wi-Fi tends to fade out. But these are the Babyana, and I'll see if I can get closer so you can enjoy the last of the Gladiolus tristis. Isn't it lovely? It's a species gladioli, and it's very pretty. And yeah, I found a different place for it to grow, and it looks good where it is. And in the back, you can still see there's some flowers on the magnolia. And yeah, there's a bit of colour in this garden. Take a good look at this cabbage tree. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually started to rock. I'm not going to have to take it out completely, but the taller trunk has got to come down. It's big, it's tall, the winds are strong. We've got another big system coming through tomorrow. You can sort of see if you look, there are ropes. I've had to tie it to things. So the arborist will come and do some work, but you can't do that in a gale. So, this is the back garden in spring. And the other thing I can show you is the pink bells and the onion weed. And you might say, why on earth have I got onion weed in there? Well, the onion weed is really nice to eat. And look at these, they're so pretty. So, yeah, I just wanted you to see this. And look, the lemon tree is lemoning, as lemon trees tend to do. What else is there? Oh yeah, I did a big prune. And, oh geez, can you see, if I zoom in a bit more, look, the century plants are starting to flower. It's going to be very spectacular. There are these huge shoots. You can see that one. 2 out of 3 of them are going. And they get 2 or 3 metres tall, 3 metres. So that's going to be exciting. I'll keep you posted.